Hello everyone. Here is another lesson for your first session today, right? So on the first session, we are going to study the grammar lesson on our Writing Breakthrough books. This is the new lesson, which is the lesson on page 68, which is the unit 7, and we are going to learn about the adverb clause. Actually, we have talked a lot about what is clause and the type of clause, right? But in this particular video, we focus on a specific type of clause, which is adverb clause. So to recall some important information, I would like to clarify that clause refer to any particular phrase that has subject and verb, and it has specific function in the sentence. For example, when we talk about noun clause, it functions as the noun in the sentence. If we talk about the relative clause or the adjective clause, it functions as an adjective. And this one, we talk about the adverb clause. Okay, so the content that we are going to discuss today, first of all, we will distinguish between what is adverb and what is adverb clause in the sentence. You will see clearly the use of adverb clause and adverb in the sentence. Moreover, adverb clause, there are many types of adverb clause that we can talk about. For example, we can talk about the clause of time, which is a part of adverb clause, a clause of reason, which is also the adverb clause as well. So right now, let's look at the adverb and adverb clause. Okay, so I have three examples. I met him yesterday. So can you tell me for the first sentence, which one is adverb? If you analyze the sentence one by one, I is the subject, met is the verb in past tense, and him is the direct object. What about yesterday? What is function? So if you check on the dictionary, yesterday function as the adverb of time, which tell the time of the verb. So yesterday you met someone. So adverb tell the time here, which is the word yesterday. So yesterday function as adverb. Let's look at the second example. I met him on Friday, for example. So on Friday, we call it the prepositional phrase. But in this situation, it functions as adverb because if you ask the question, when did you meet him? Sure, the answer is on Friday. So on Friday used to modify the word meet right here. So this one is the adverb phrase which introduced by the preposition and it tell the time. For the last one, I met him before I left the town. Okay, I met him before I left the town. So as you can see right here, before I left the town is the adverb clause. Why we say it is an adverb clause? Because we have the subject and a predicate or the verb. So this one is a clause, but in this sentence it functions as an adverb. If you look at here, what before I left the town, it modified the word met, which is the verb. So adverb generally modify the verb. So adverb can take just a single verb, we call it adverb, or the prepositional phrase, it also functions as an adverb when it modifies noun. So for this clause, we call it adverb clause. Okay, so let's look at the type of adverb clause. So there are generally a lot, but I break it down to the four main type of adverb clause that you should familiar with. First of all, which is the time clause, the clause of reason, the clause of contrast, and the clause of condition, which is the conditional sentences that we have studied so far. So let's look at the time clause first. So here I have three examples. So for the first example, I was talking on the phone when he arrived. So here we have the conjunction. So when right here function as the conjunction, and the whole sentence when he arrived, it functions as the adverb clause. So another key point to remember, adverb clause always come with the conjunctions, which is the coordinative conjunctions. So when here is the conjunction that introduce the time, that is why we call it time clause. So I was talking on the phone when he arrived, which means we emphasize and we focus on the time. Example number 2, it started raining while I was waiting for a bus. So can you identify which part of the sentence is the independent clause and which part of the sentence is the adverb clause? Okay, so for the first part of the sentence right here, it is the independent clause. It started raining while I was waiting for a bus, which is the adverb clause, and it functions as a dependent clause. So we have the word when, which used to introduce two actions that are happening at the same time. So I woke up before or after the alarm clock rang. So actually it's introduced the series of action. Before or after is also the conjunctions that use to link dependent clause with the adverb clause. So let's move on to the clause of reason or the reason clause. So clause of reason, we are talk about the word because or the word sin or the word actually we talk about the word because and sin only, right? So to be clear, the word sin in this situation has the same meaning as the word because, right? So look at the first example. He didn't go out because he was tired. So here, because he was tired is the reason clause, which functions as an adverb clause right here, because it tells the reason why he didn't go out. The second example, since I want to be a doctor, I study hard. So since I want to be a doctor is the adverb clause because it tells the reason why you study hard. So if you want to understand why it is an adverb, because it emphasizes the verb. You want to be a doctor, so you study hard. Another example of the clause of contrast, which means there are two ideas contradicted each other. So they continue to run although it was raining. So here they continues to run, which means they still running, which is the independent clause. Although it was raining is the adverb clause. Again, for the clause of contrast, we have already learned from the conjunction lesson already that we use the subordinating conjunctions to link two opposite ideas. Okay, for the conditional clause, we have learned the first conditional and the zero conditional. So conditional clause also classify as the adverb clause as well. So if you look at the example, so for the first sentence, it is the what we call the first conditional. I believe you remember the form of this. We use the present simple tense in the if clause, and we use the future simple form in the main clause, right? So this one, the first sentence, called the first conditional. On the other hand, the second example is the zero conditional, because we talk about the facts, the truth. So the water freezes if the temperature below 0 Celsius. Right? So this is the truth or the fact. So we use the zero conditional right here. And remember, conditional sentence is also the adverb clause. Okay, so everyone, after you watch this video, I believe you can distinguish between adverb and adverb clause, and understand the type of adverb clause that you will encounter later on in your journey. So everyone, that's it for the first video lesson. Enjoy your short break, and when we come back we will continue our second session. Thank you.